Hello, how are we? Hello, and a cheers with a bottle of water because I forgot to boil the kettle, and it got to 1 o'clock, and I was like, that's going to be like another couple of minutes. Hello, it's Monday. It's the 28th of February, and it's 1 o'clock. So I was like, I'm going to jump on here and just say hello because from one anxiety-inducing thing to another, there's something else on our news that's happened since Monday that might make you want to think, oh, actually, I don't know what I'm doing or how I'm feeling. So I thought I was going to jump on here, and it's just like 2 years ago, almost to the day, isn't it? Really. Hello, hey, how you doing, Mr. Wayne? Did you get a notification this time? Because last week you didn't get it until, was it 4:15 or something like that. Shamai, hello. It is indeed cup of tea on these weird times. I just saw a crazy listicle of things to do to survive a nuclear war, which is nice and not scary at all to consider that it is, something that is, well, that there's forces on special alert, as it were. So I was like, I'm going to jump on here because I started off telling you about me finishing my book. Not my book. I'm not writing a book. Not yet, anyway. It looks like a microphone. But about me reading Will Smith's book. And admittedly, he wrote it. So I'm just plugging myself in. He wrote it before nuclear winter was being proposed. But he had some really, really good little bits in there. If you are a fan. Now I got 3 tabs open: Facebook Tom Dyer, Facebook Hello Tom Dyer, Twitter Hello Tom Dyer. You will find me on the Twitter one. I am spreading myself. I'm on YouTube and on Twitter and on Facebook at the moment, which is just delightful for all of you. So you can go back and watch these videos. Sorry, all my devices, I've realised, are about to run out of juice, so I should have planned this one through. But it does mean that I was only 1 minute late, as opposed to last week, which was a little bit more. Like that in there. Oh, that didn't work. Like that in there. Right, back in the room. So first things first, how was your weekend? Did you have lovely sunny weather, just like we did here in the west of Wales? Let's have a look. Wayne John, you are #1 fan. It's funny though, because it's only showing up as 2 on the little screen here. But yes, this last weekend, do you know what? I had a really nice weekend. It was busy, so I didn't get to watch a film last night, which I'm very upset about because Sunday evening is like film evening. But I filled it up with other bits and pieces as well. Wayne's confirming that it was sunny. I spent Saturday outside at Crickmarron Rugby Ground, which is the home of Pembroke Rugby Football Club. And I got to do, essentially, I'm going to call it, I got to do some TV work, which is great. I got to do some TV work for PBS Radio. And you know what? I had been really busy this morning. I didn't have a chance to text Abigail and be like, are you free at 1? But look who's here.
Hi!
Hello!
Big
How are
waves.
you?
Good, thank you. How are you? God, I look like really horrendous pigs in this.
Do you?
Yeah. Look at that.
So
like, what's that angle about? I'm not feeling that angle.
I love that.
I literally look like I've got like watermelons like hiding under my jumper. Do you reckon it's StreamYard or is it just me?
Well, you met H for the first time yesterday. Maybe she might be able to say.
Oh, Hilda. Oh, hi, Hilda.
Yeah. So we've got
comments as well on here. Oh, hey, Helen. I was going to call you Marie then. Hey, Helen Marie.
Hey, Helen Marie. And we got Wayne.
Oh, Wayne. Hi, Wayne. Oh God, how exciting!
I know. Getting the gang back together, Abs, because
love it.
It was only 2 years ago that we started doing these lives because of like anxiety and fear-inducing rubbish in the world. And
well, we were all going to die, weren't we? Let's face it, we were all going to die.
Yeah, and then 2 years on, nuclear winter.
What a joy! I actually don't know what I prefer.
I know. Like, which one is it? So
I'm not sure. I mean, I'd rather have neither. or neither,
Um,
or neither, whichever.
You say potato, I say potato, apparently.
Hey, whatever.
But yeah, isn't that wild? That from one thing straight to another. And of course,
I know it's pretty hairy out there in the world right now, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
he was in hibernation for 2 years and thought, what can I do to take over the world?
plotting in his lair.
Literally, he reminds you of Pinky and the Brain, if people remember that program, but not in a funny way.
No,
Not in a humorous way, in a goddamn real scary way.
real scary,
So
scary.
sending big love to Ukraine right now and all of the soldiers involved out there, and Lukey, of course, my Lukey. So yeah,
Indeed.
hello, Sam.
Who's been joined by the whole of his regiment. What is the Royal Welsh?
Yeah, regiment. I'm pretty sure it's regiment. We're gonna go with that.
Okay, yeah, the
He's
regiment.
a company within a regiment, I think.
And what's a battalion?
A huge lot of companies, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Don't obviously quote me on these things, but yeah.
Yeah.
You get this. Yeah. Hi, Lou. Absolutely loving the Ukraine love. Whoever didn't know what the Ukraine flag was knows now.
Well,
it was really emotional yesterday. I was watching the beginning of the Ireland and Italy game. They obviously put the big Ukrainian flag out, and everyone just stood there and just applauded for ages. It was really lovely.
Yeah, no,
I actually stood up and applauded it in the lounge.
You got up on your feet and started.
I did. I just thought it was so lovely that everyone's just sort of rallying round. It's just lovely.
Yeah, and of course, like football and sports and stuff. So Manchester City and Everton, they've both got Ukrainian players, so they both shared a high five.
And they had their names on all of their shirts. Chelsea did. I think it was Chelsea. I don't know. A team did anyway. It was just lovely.
And is it Benfica or something in Spain? A Ukrainian came on as a substitute, and just before he came on, the manager went on his show. Yeah, and he said, "You're captain," and everybody was up on their feet, and like he was proper, like his lips went and everything.
I know. It's just I just think it's lovely. FIFA need to do one.
Oh, but I know.
Hey ho, like get to grips with the world, guys. It's not all about money.
No, the Russian Union.
I know, idiots. Oh, Collie's straight in. Yeah, so much going on in the world, but it's too harrowing to watch and listen to. Love and prayers to Ukraine, to Luki and all the troops. Pray for peace. Amen.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, you even put a long status up, Abigail.
I did, uncharacteristically for me, actually, I have to say, but I just felt it was needed. People were being very flippant about what's going on. Well, one or two were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say the majority because only one or two were, and I felt quite strongly about it. So yeah. I did. I went wild and put a fit. Like I must have been missing doing assignments or something because it was weirdy. It was weirdy.
It was, but this is day 6 now of the conflict as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And I didn't fully realize. I knew he was an actor, but the Ukrainian comedian. He was a comedian. Like, yeah,
it's quite something.
It is quite something. And you've got a comedian who's the president, and the mayor of Kiev is one of the Klitschko brothers, heavyweight boxers.
Well, fantastic.
5 days. This is day 5.
Okay. Maybe I was watching this morning, like BBC News this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was just broke a small.
You broke her.
Hilarious.
And yes, we've got a comedian who's like actually funny, and as Wayne just said, we have a clown as a PM.
Yeah, we have a clown who isn't funny in the slightest.
No. But Zelensky, that's his name, isn't it?
Yes.
He's fair play, and I don't think anyone anticipated that Ukraine would hold off a load of conscripts for 5 days, let alone take.
I think it's bloody amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's so needless and pointless what's happening, but it's great that people are standing up and be like, get out.
Well, the world is standing together, which it's so lovely.
Yeah.
Like obviously through some horrific time, but Yeah, I think it's amazing how people are kind of, rallying together and supporting. Elon Musk has sort of gone in there with his, what's it called again? His Starlink or something? I don't know.
His
Yeah,
Starlink satellite to providing the internet to the people of
because
Ukraine.
the
And
vice president said, "Hey, Elon, do you want to give us a hand here?" And fair play, he did.
He did. And in fact, for considering that for the first couple of days, no one really did anything like massive. Estonia were the first to provide javelins, and now Belgium's provided bits and pieces, and Romania's providing bits and pieces. It really is quite a thing that's happening down there.
It's huge. Yeah, absolutely massive.
Yeah, well, hopefully it will come to some form of resolution and without too much damage and destruction, because like that part of the world is so steeped in history between the links between the Middle East and Europe. Like if you didn't realize how like beautiful Ukraine and like Azerbaijan and Romania, like they've all got, and the Czech Republic and things, like there's a lot of history and culture there. From those travels, and it's such a shame that it's been this breeding ground of hate.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty ugly, but hopefully they'll see it through.
Ooh.
Yes, Collie's saying we're standing together but helplessly because the consequences would be horrific if NATO stepped over the border, and this is what we're all trying to avoid, isn't it?
Yeah, and
literally a world war.
Lou, with fingers crossed that we can come to like hopefully a sooner rather than later peaceful resolution.
Absolutely.
And, Anonymous, the internet group, doing great stuff countering Russian propaganda and taking down their websites, which is really cool. Oh,
hello.
Hello.
I can't hear anything.
Nothing at all. Where have you gone? You've been working fine.
Yeah, someone's trying to phone me. I'll speak to you later.
Okay. Right, so there goes Abs. So we'll take her off here, but she can come back on later on. So yeah, and with Luke being out in Estonia, it does really hammer at home more than maybe like your average like next door neighbor, just how close we are to everything that's going on. And in fact, over on Friday, we have in Pembrokeshire, we've got a training base near us in Castle Martin, and it's where they practice all like tank maneuvers, different shoots with different vehicles and things. And I found myself down there with Helen on Friday to go to St. Govan's Chapel, which if you haven't been to, next time you're here, if you want to see a tiny, tiny, tiny little chapel in the crack of a cliff, then you need to go on down there. And like you have to go through the old part of the firing range to get to it. Sometimes they close it off because they're using the whole area for shoots. So we were lucky; they were giving access to St. Govan's, but there were red flags flying everywhere, and a guy on the gate being like, "You may hear some loud noises. You might hear some loud noises." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." And in the distance, you can hear the, "Oh, that's cannon fire, literal cannon fire, taking place like a mile away." That's all it was, and you can hear the machine guns as well. Da, 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 da. And like not many people are afforded that experience, and a lot of people don't want that experience, particularly those in places of conflict. And it's sad because Ukraine isn't actually the only place under conflict at the moment, I doubt. And it was really humbling to be that close to live fire. And one thing I didn't know, which I've lived here pretty much all my life, is you can actually, there's a spectator field where the watchtower is, where the commanders or general or whatever are looking over the whole field. So if you imagine the old war rooms with their maps and like they move their pieces around, there's a field that overlooks the Castle Martin range, and it's a spectator car park, and you can drive up there and you can park on the bank and you can see it all playing out in front of you. And so we went from like a mile away to less than half a mile away. Oh my goodness, it's so loud and like guttural, the feeling of being near a tank when it launches its bullets. And it's crazy that's happening right now. I did have the statistics for the for what kind of artillery's been lost, but I don't have it to hand. And I am going to slightly change the subject now to things that we can control. And I mentioned last week that I was reading this book, Will, and it's funny, he's used this as a double entendre, because Will, of course, is his name, Willard Carroll Smith Jr., I think he is, or the second. And the will is that will to keep moving and to do the things that you want to do. And he's always had the will. And it's funny, actually, he spends so much time talking about his childhood that the second half of the book, because of course childhood is your formative years where you build up your experiences and basically your bedrock for what you're going to do in later life. And it feels like his adult life from his mid-20s through to, well, he's now 50, he's 51 or 52 now, flew by in a blink of an eye. I thought he forgot about Men in Black. Also, I thought Independence Day came after Men in Black. It didn't. It was Independence Day, then Men in Black, which kind of makes sense because he was a side character to Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day, whereas in Men in Black, it's about Agent J. But what's really cool about this book is that he builds it up into this big crescendo. And I don't know if you know this about Will Smith, but on his 50th birthday, and the theme throughout the book is battling your fear. And on his 50th birthday, he was approached by an online group called Yes Theory, who I used to watch every single week on YouTube. And they challenged him for his birthday to bungee jump. Bungee jump is a scary thing. It's a really scary thing. Anyway, because you just kind of free fall. Whereas what he was going to do was he was going to bungee jump out of a helicopter into the Grand Canyon, which is also very scary. In the run-up to the event, he decided that he didn't want to know the ins and outs of it. He'd gone through his whole life wanting to know absolutely everything. And he was like, no, it's my 50th. I'm going to rock up. I'm going to be told what to do. And I'm just going to do it. And because of the length of the harness, or the length of the bungee cords and the backing cords and like all the safeties and whatever, he couldn't actually ride in the helicopter to then jump out of it. Got something caught in my throat. And so he had to launch sat on the wing, just holding on the outside of a helicopter whilst it ascends to, what was it, 550 feet or something above the Grand Canyon. And it was a very clever movie thing because he mentions his trip to the Grand Canyon when he was a child in his book. And he talks about fear in this book, and he talks about how you've just got to carry on moving through it. And the last couple of chapters, like the book is you probably 100%, and the book is labeled as autobiography and self-help, as I pointed out last week. And there are like little flashes of self-help paragraphs in there, so he kind of reflects on what that did to his psyche and his mindset. But the last couple of chapters are very much geared towards the self-help section of it as well. And it's just such a good book in relation to conquering fear and identifying the fear, but why you have the fear in the first place. And Will goes on to talk a lot about, he had a bit of a counselling journey. He's also, I didn't realise this, he's been on, at the time of writing, 11 or 12, how's it pronounced? Ayahuasca retreats? Something like that. Ayahuasca, which is a substance used in South America, typically done in Peru these days, that basically, well, the impact it has is claimed to be quite profound in that it, what was the word that she used? It purged all of her negative thoughts about herself. This is the person that recommended it to Will. And it's like he's done it 12 times, and it's not all, his first one, he was lucky, was actually really positive, and he thoroughly enjoyed that one. And one thing that Will's always had issues with is knowing what his worth was without the need for everyone else to love him, if that makes sense. So he was this big movie star. He had to run his ship in order. He bought My Lady, which was his like house with houses and lakes and staff and stuff on it. And he thought that he was providing, therefore he was the big cheese. But he realized that he actually hated being by himself. And he went on a 10-day silence retreat, might be longer actually. with no silence, no noise, no technology, and he didn't like himself at all. And then he found some counselling, then at ayahuasca, and he said on his trip, on his journey, as it were, that he was just floating and he was amongst all these stars and he was amongst like these beautiful, vivid colours. And there was this voice just telling him that you are this beautiful. Like, because Will was asking, like, well, what is this? And he's like, this is you. Like, this is all of you. And from that point on, he's kind of stopped looking for the adoration and the love from others, including Jada. And they've been in the press loads because she apparently went off with someone else. So did Will. They've always had an unconventional relationship. But they no longer see it as their duty to make the other person happy. You've got to make yourself happy, and then you've got to love the other person and support them, which is brilliant. And Will did go up in this helicopter. You can watch it on YouTube. And the last word of the book is simply, well, in fact, it's not even the last word. He counts it down, and so he's counting down. He goes, look, I'm either going to die or I'm not. If God wanted me today, I ain't nothing I can do about it anyway. If I die, I'm not even going to know. So the real question is, how do I want to live? And there's a wonderful illustration of him jumping out of the helicopter. And how do you want to live? What a question to end your book. How do I want to live? And it's a great way to pose that on yourself, isn't it? Hello, Paul. Long time no see. Less than 24 hours. We're like proper chums. And Lou, I bought a self-help sort of book this week. Really looking forward to reading it. It's called Atomic Habits. Has anyone read it? I haven't read it, but it is already on my reading list. And I do believe there's a podcast I listen to, which is called By the Book. And if you like self-help books, the two female hosts, they get kind of requested books and they have to live the letter of the book for 2 weeks. And I'm pretty sure that they've done Atomic Habits. I'm fairly certain of it. But Atomic Habits is on my reading list. However, I am reading, and let us know how it is, because I love books like that. I absolutely love them. I'm now reading this. And if you look at the name here, and if you've been a watcher for a little while now, Hannah McKim is a friend of the show. She's been on the show more than once. And hopefully we'll be getting fairly regularly, which is brilliant. She's super busy taking over the world at the moment, though, including being a published author with 21 other phenomenal females. Now, I've got this book because it was a Christmas present from Hannah, and she even wrote me a little note in there as well, which is lovely, because I actually had sight of Hannah's chapter, which in this version of the book opens the book, because this is her book. And it's like she actually sent it to me prior to release, and I cannot tell you how proud I am that a friend of mine, A, is in this position that she's in a published book, and B, trusted me to have a read through and like give honest and true feedback and try and make it possible for just to make it from a reader's perspective. There she is. And here's all of her social links, as well. So you need to give her a follow. She's got loads of stuff going on at the moment, including her self-care love box or self-love box, which looks amazing, supporting different people as well. And Lou is going to let us know how it is. Thank you so much. And Paul is reading a Star Wars magazine. Which one? Because the universe of Star Wars is so much bigger than I ever anticipated. I thought it was the 3 films to begin with, but there's been loads of offshoots that I didn't necessarily realize were all linked, mainly because I've been warped by Marvel, who did it all in like, here's our comic books. Oh, by the way, here's loads of films that are definitely all linked together. I suppose because I wasn't there at the beginning, I haven't seen the evolution of Star Wars. Paul is a Star Wars mega fan. If you have any memorabilia or want to send him anything, it's just get him something Star Wars. But I did spend the evening with Paul last night on the way back from rehearsal, because I'm going to play at the end of April. And we got to watch 21 penalty kicks as Liverpool finally, after 21 kicks, beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. Brilliant. It's just really nice to actually just, go around a mate's house and watch a game of football. It was brilliant. So it was good. I was like quadruple booked last night, and I did drop the ball with a few things, but I also did some other good things. And Paul was thanks to that. So if you get the opportunity to spend some time with some people, then go and do it. The laws in Wales have changed today in relation to face masks indoors, not for shopping, public transport, or healthcare settings, but everywhere else, no need for masks anymore legally. Some institutions are, of course, going to keep them in place, and that's fine. That is fine. Wayne, Chelsea, are they still being allowed to play? They are. Roman Abramovich has handed over the stewardship of the club to the Chelsea Charitable Foundation. He still owns it, but there were calls for a boycott of Chelsea to be playing as well. But they definitely played last night, and they definitely had 3 goals disallowed because of offside. So they need to get better at learning the offside trap. Simples. And Harvey Elliott, young kid, wasn't even supposed to be on the match day squad. Someone got injured at the warm-up. He came in, got substituted, and started a fight, scored a penalty, lifted a cup. Perfect. Hopefully, I imagine if he's wise, he's moved it out, because Russia are no longer part of the SWIFT program, which is banking, and we froze some small banks or something. So hopefully, I say hopefully, from his point of view, that he's moved his assets very quickly. And Lou saying, I think I will continue to wear mine everywhere when the rules change here. Better safe than sorry, isn't it? And I've seen a comment. It's like, does this mean that COVID's gone? Does this mean that if I haven't got vaccinated, do I need to bother now because COVID's disappeared? And I was like, well, it's probably thanks to a lot of efforts of the majority of people getting vaccinated. Love that match summary. Not in the squad, get picked, substitute, start a fight, score a goal, lift the cup. Bang. That's all you need to know. The rest of it, nothing happened. He refused to comment on the war. Oh dear. Well, there's enough handshakes with him and Putin to know it's quite an awkward place for him, isn't it? As it is for lots of Russians, actually, who are out there protesting in their motherland, which very strict rules on protesting, which the UK is kind of following suit when it comes to getting rid of mass gatherings. But hey, we'll have to see what happens, won't we? One thing that was surprising was how many MPs have received donations from Russians, including our very own here in Pembrokeshire, to the tune of £26,000 was one source I saw. I haven't verified it, but I read it. So yeah, interesting times that we live in, and day 5, hopefully this will come to an end and Ukraine can live in peace. Yes, totally shocking. It's 1:30. Thank you so much for your time here this Monday. Thank you to Abs, who was able to join us very briefly. It's good to see you. Really good to see you. And I'll see you again soon. I'll try and keep posting and whatnot as things come into my head. I've been sharing loads of podcasts actually over the last couple of weeks. They're ones that I've saved over the last couple of years, and as I always plan to share these. So if you do want to look back through and some of the podcasts that have impacted me the most, then by all means you can scroll back down the wall and you'll see some of those podcasts that I've been listening to, because I love podcasts. Have a great one, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye.